Hello everyone, my name is Vishnu Mano, and in this video we will be talking about choosing the text editor that is right for you. So first of all, what is a text editor? So the problem with code is that you can't just open up a Google Doc, type some code, and expect it to run. Of course, you don't need to understand what this line means, but any code you type isn't going to run on Google Docs. So you specifically need a software that is capable of running your code, where you can type your code in or copy and paste it, and it should run. So a text editor is just that, a software that allows you to type and run your code very easily. Choosing your text editor is a bit harder to understand. You need to choose your text editor depending on what operating system you're running on your machine. So if you're choosing to run on Mac or Windows, that means that you need to use a text editor called Visual Studio Code. You can go to code.visualstudio.com in order to download Visual Studio Code. So just click on download for whatever operating system you're on, and it should download. Again, I'm developing on Mac, so I would just click the download Mac Universal. I've already downloaded Visual Studio Code, so after the installation process, if I just search up Visual Studio Code, you can see that it opens up right over here. So if you're running on Mac, then you can just type Command space in order to open up Spotlight Search and type in code or Visual Studio Code, and it should open up. If you're on Windows, then you have your search bar in the bottom left corner, and you can just type in Visual Studio Code and open it up that way. Once you reach Visual Studio Code, you need to open up a specific folder. So if you go to your file navigation system, in my case Finder, since I'm on a Mac, I can navigate to the desktop menu and click on Code, which is just a folder I created. So I need to open up this code folder, as this will store all of my program files. So I can just come to Visual Studio Code, click on File, Open, go to Desktop, and click on Code, Open. Perfect. I've now opened up into the code folder. You can see right over here that it says code. Let's go through a quick outline of the Visual Studio Code editor. You can see in the left bar, you have a bunch of options for different tabs to open. For example, right here, this exposes all of the files within your folder that you opened. So if we have some sort of image file or a program file, you should be able to see it when you click on Explorer. If you click on Search, then you can search for items within your code. If you click on this debug option, this helps you find errors in your code. This is called the Source Control tab. The Source Control tab allows you to integrate your folder with a tool called Git and a tool called GitHub. We'll be talking more about that in the next video. The Extensions tab is the main power of Visual Studio Code. It offers hundreds of extensions that allow you to code in a more efficient way, so it just makes you more productive. LiveShare is this cool feature that may not come pre-installed on your version of Visual Studio Code, but again, you can just go to the Extensions tab, search up LiveShare, and install it if you want. This allows you to share your code with others. For example, whenever I code with someone else, I can share my folder so they can type directly into it. You don't need to worry about this. This is just another extension I downloaded from the Extensions tab. So if we go back to Explorer, you can create a new file inside of this folder. For example, if I just create a text file, notes.txt, I can type regular text in here and it should save. The extension on a file basically determines what type of data is within it. A .text, a .txt extension just means there's text inside of it. Once we start using different programming languages, each of these programming languages will have a different extension or suffix in the end. So in notes.txt, you can see I can type hello, my name is Vishnu, and you can see in the Open Editors tab, notes.txt comes up because it's open, and then it also says one unsaved, and you see this dot pop up right next to notes.txt. That's because this is not saved. Autosave is a feature in VS Code where it automatically saves your file. However, you need to go enable that. If you choose not to enable autosave, each time after making some sort of change, you need to press Command and S in order to save it on Mac, and Control S on Windows. So once you do that, you can see that the dot disappears and the one unsaved changes to none unsaved. If you want to enable autosave, all you have to do is click on the settings icon, click on Settings, go to Commonly Used Settings, and change autosave from off to after delay. Now you can see the more I change, the one unsaved isn't popping up and neither is the dot, and that's because it automatically saves the changes. For all of our courses, this autosave feature will be on after delay, so that's why you won't see any dots come up, and I won't be mentioning press Command S or Control S if you don't have autosave on, just because I expect you to know that. Lastly, you can change the size of the text you type on. So if I said hello right here, I can press Command minus 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 to lower the size, and to increase the size, Command plus plus. Again, if you're on Windows, you press Control, and if you're on Mac, you press Command. That's the only difference. So now if you're on Chromebook, or if you have a less powerful computer that can't run VS Code, you can always resort back to online text editors that are stored on the cloud. The best one that I know of is called repelit.com. So basically, if you're on a Chromebook, which can't download VS Code, or if you're on a computer that isn't that very powerful, or if you just don't want to download a text editor, you can always use repelit.com. Once you log in or sign up, if you're a new user, I will log in this case. I can create a new REPL, and let's say we just want to create a website. We click on HTML, CSS, JS. We can call it just test, click on create REPL, and now you can actually start programming. Although throughout all of our courses, we will mainly be using VS Code as our text editor, you can always follow along using repelit.com as your text editor. All the files will be named the same thing, so you don't have to worry about that. And generally speaking, this resembles VS Code. In order to run a program on repelit.com, just click on this run button and it should run. That's all you need to know about text editors. So in short, if you're on a powerful computer, especially one that runs Mac or Windows, then download Visual Studio Code as your text editor. And if you're not on a powerful computer, you don't want to download a text editor, or you're on a Chromebook, then use repelit.com to run your code. I'll see you in the next video where we discuss GitHub and Git, two tools that software engineers and developers use on a daily basis.